What's up, guys? That really gross guy here. We are back, and today I wanted to talk about the content drought in Warframe. And I kind of want to preface this with it's not the lack of content, it's the lack of engaging content, because of course we've had the Neja Deluxe, the Vauban Deluxe, the Nidus, all sorts of content coming out. We had some frames coming our way, and that's not necessarily what I'm talking about. We will kind of touch base with some of that recent content here in just a moment when it comes to opinions and stuff like that. And of course, this video is just my opinion, and I am absolutely curious to hear what you guys have to say in the comments below, because your opinions are just as valid as mine. I'm just another player, just like you guys, and I would love to hear what you guys have to say. But I just want to kind of talk about, number one, we're just talking about, actually, if you guys are looking at the content, or the video behind this video, or the anyways, real quick, in the background you'll be seeing me playing around as Loki. I'm just out there practicing around because I have two ribbons that I need to unlock, and both of those have to do with not setting off any alarms, and I'm just trying to refamiliarize myself with Loki, and deciding if I want to use Loki or Vara with some of those alert deals. But one of them is Syndicate thingies, and the other one is slide attacks. So slide attacks going to be easy. Syndicate one's not so easy. But anyways, so ignore my failures for not playing Loki for so long. Anyways, when we were just talking about the deluxe skins and Revenant and stuff like that, the recent content that came out, the problem I'm having, and a lot of people are having, is the fact that there's not a whole lot of substance to the quests or the events and all that stuff coming out. We have seen DE push out Plaguestar again to kind of give us something to do. Of course, we now have our endless onslaught mode, whatever, to kind of give us some stuff to do as well. But all in all, there's not a lot of, like I said, substance, or we'll say like some lore or story backing up a lot of the stuff we've gotten recently. For instance, deluxe skins don't really have any lore tied to any of the deluxe skins. Revenant came out, and he was supposed to be like the Eidolon killer vampire dude, whatever, and boy, was he not I don't want to say he wasn't what I was expecting, because after I saw like his laser beams and stuff like that, I was like, oh, he's gonna be like a crazy, like alt frame with, special abilities to kind of do some mind control-y stuff, and ultimately he was what, I was expecting him to be. However, the story with Revenant, and there just wasn't a lot of substance there. We had, like I said, deluxe skins, no substance behind that. Onslaught mode was really just like, hey, you want to play an arcadey something or other for this and that, which is what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong, the one thing that I loved that came out this year, being the Sacrifice, was phenomenal, but we only get these story-driven cinematic quests once every, it seems like once a year, and DE, if there's one thing I think you guys need to fix, and obviously it's way easier said than done, is we need some more, I don't necessarily want to say cinematic quests, but some real lore, story-driven content. For instance, one quest that I thought was fantastic was the Inaros quest. Some people may not think so, but there was some story and lore tied behind Inaros. There was story and lore tied behind Mirage, and even though Mirage wasn't necessarily, you know, as detailed, I don't think, as, like I said, Inaros or whatever. I feel like that's probably good enough. Some people would disagree, but you guys got to keep in mind how many people work at DE, and some of you guys might not even know. They're not a AAA company. You know, they, in my opinion, Digital Extremes is probably understaffed, especially for the ambitious, you know, content that they're trying to put out. And I'll talk about a little bit more of my predictions and stuff in terms of, you know, Digital Extremes and the content that's coming in the near future. But I just want to throw out there that, you know, there's some frames that come out with like codexes, and I'm not too crazy about just the codex. I don't want to see just, oh, this frame was part of this thing that you'd have no idea anything about because we don't have a quest tied to it. I don't want to see. I want to see like I said, Naros stuff where we actively participate in a quest that has to do with the specific frame. Like Titania, that quest was pretty cool, even though it wasn't like cinematic or anything. We at least got some cool lore and an active quest that we could participate in that talked about Titania, you know. The frames that I feel like lacked that, for instance, Revenant, I don't think was the best delivery for Revenant. There was the quest where we were trying to like rescue people from the infested, and I don't remember what frame that was all about, but it didn't really say anything about the frame itself. We just kind of got a reward at the end, and that was like, what? I guess so. I don't know. What was there was another one. Anyways, there were some good deliveries, definitely, with Warframes and their stories, and then there were some not so good deliveries. And if we could get some, at least, like, quest that pertains to the lore behind the Warframe with each Warframe delivered, then I would be happy with that. It doesn't have to be cinematic, but I think it needs to be more than just a codex. Now, Venus is coming out, open world, and one thing I really want to talk about with Venus is I feel like, you know, they even said it, it's a very ambitious project where they were like, cool, let's texture out and build the map for Venus, and next thing you know, they're like, oh wow, this is cool, let's add in some caves. And I mean, the caves they showed seemed pretty extensive, which I'm excited about, and the bases seem pretty extensive, I'm excited about. But they just were adding detail and making it really cool, and they were like, all right, so story, we need to really pour some story and put some heart and love into this. Why are the Corpus here, and what projects are they working on? What are the people in Fortuna doing and working on, and why, and all that stuff. And like, that's like, cool, all right, so we're getting that story. They're pushing that story element into the game, and I think that's fantastic. But DE has been going beyond that. They're like, ooh, hoverboards. Okay, you know what? Not just hoverboards. Let's do some tricks. Let's get some races out there in Venus and all that good stuff. And I think that's cool and all. I think that it's great that they're exploring those opportunities and options. They're like, oh, you can build your own hoverboard, so now you can mod it with components or whatever to make it faster, do tricks quicker, or this or that, or blah blah blah. That's great. You're also seeing them go, hey, there's some stuff that needs to be reworked, so why don't we do that in the process, such as the Arcwing stuff, and being able to jump in and out of Arcwing mid-air and all that cool stuff. And that's cool. I think that stuff's great. Now, personally, I'm like, I'm going to use the hoverboard for transportation. I'll do a trick here or there, but I'll probably be either an Arcwing most of the time, or I'll be really immersing myself by being on foot. And that doesn't mean I don't want the tricks and the cool, you know, reworks and all that stuff. I'm glad that stuff is coming out. I just personally, I'm trying not to get super like, just give me the game already or the content already, because I know that they're working their butts off. I know how much, how much they probably do on a daily basis, pulling overtime and, really trying to just make it as good and polished as they can. In fact, on the dev stream, they were showing how the animals their footprints were like orange, but then the foliage around those footprints were orange, and they were like, problem, we need to fix that. Sure enough, they get that fixed. They get the hunting stuff, tranquilizer stuff a little bit better and stuff like that. All work in progress stuff. And like I said, I hate to be like, just give me the content, just give it to me, because I know that every day goes by, and as they play test it, as they fool around with it, they're finding stuff, they're fixing stuff, bugs or quality of life stuff, and I appreciate that. The one thing that I think is kind of something that every company that produces a game has to consider is, okay, when is the appropriate time to release this thing so that the players, the millions of players can jump into this game and play test it and literally do millions of hours worth of play testing in mere days. You know what I mean? Millions and millions of hours of play testing in days. You know what I mean? And they obviously, let's say they have 10 people playing it, just play testing it 8 hours a day. That's only 80 hours of play testing. As soon as they release this thing and 1,000 people log into the game and download it, right off the bat, they just play test everything they've done. You know what I mean? And then some. So I think DE number one, I think they're going to do a good job delivering. I think they're really trying to do the right thing for their players. And I also think they're going to try to do their best to give it to us in a not broken state and a playable state so that they can do polishing and not crazy bug fixes. But, that is what it is. I'm willing to wait. I just wish that the other content that we got in the meantime was pushing the lore and stuff in the game a little bit further. But the reason why I don't necessarily think they can do so, and I talked about maybe being understaffed, I feel like DE tends to bite off more than they can chew, and I think that's because, like I was saying, I don't think they have enough people working at the same time. And that's just, I could be completely wrong, I don't know. But one way that a lot of people research new games and new stuff in terms of, the gaming world is to look at job listings. And I know DE reached out to the Telltale guys, and my heart goes out to those Telltale guys that unfortunately are not employed right now. But DE and a number of other companies reached out and said, hey, we want to help. We have job openings. Come check it out if you are interested. And DE did that as well. And I thought, hey, you know what? Let me go through and see what they're hiring for, to see maybe what they're planning on doing in the near future. So, for instance, DE is hiring an environmental artist, which I'm assuming is going to have a lot to do with open world environments, and level designers having to do with lots of reworks. And, we did the Jupiter, or not the Jupiter, but the Corpus tile set, stuff and all that great stuff. There's concept artists is being, hiring for concept artists. A number of other things, simple stuff, like community stuff, media, but there's game design in here, there's game web developers, different stuff like that, integration programmers, like I said, PR management, blah, blah, blah. So I haven't seen anything in here specifically, and it might, I haven't looked in each job listing to see every little detail of each job. But anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if they're hiring for some, story writing and all that stuff. They have, like I said, there's a lot of stuff on here, but animation, art, customer support, level design, marketing, operations, programming, stuff like that. But I think Warframe, Digital Extremes, I think their focus needs to be a little bit more on the fleshing out of content and not necessarily throwing us content just for the sake of putting out content. And I feel like that's kind of what they're doing now. It's just, it's taken a little bit. But anyways, if you have what it takes to do some of this stuff, you have experience in these fields. I know a lot of you guys that watch my videos are about my age. A lot of you guys, most of you guys are graduated from, you know, high school or, you know, whatever. A lot of you guys are 25 plus, which is more my age, so you're out of college. So if you do have, you know, you do have these skills, maybe try to get over there and put in your application. But in fact, there's even a kitchen assistant and a chef. So if you have if you have those skills, then maybe that's for you. But anyways, guys, I think that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, I would love to hear what you guys have to say, what you guys think, and when it comes to this stuff. You're like I said, your opinions absolutely matter. I will read all the comments like I always do. I will respond to anything that I feel like kind of pushes the things a little bit more, where you kind of like brainstorm, you know, get those ideas out there, get the wheels turning. And I would love to talk to you guys. I do have Discord if you would love to come over and join that. Yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope to see you guys again in the next video. Blah.